Mr. Lewison, you have 5 cards. Can you take all 5 together?
So the Zero Waste Masterplan will be a huge step forward in the environmental protection movement in Singapore. It signals the government's strong commitment towards protecting our environment and ensuring that we have sustainable practices. I hope that the main emphasis of the Masterplan is on reducing our consumption rather than on recycling what we have used. We need to focus on the root of the problem and address our throw-away culture. If we do not reduce our consumption and instead focus mainly on recycling, our efforts will be futile. Equally important is public ownership of the master plan. People need to have a stake in it, and we can achieve this by ensuring that people's views and ideas from green groups as well as the general public are heard. Can ministers share if the master plan is already completed? If not, will there be plans to consult the public, and when would they take place? Next card. So I spoke about my love for gorillas during the Film Amendments Bill. Little did I know that I have been unknowingly contributing to their demise. Quite simply because I use a mobile phone and a laptop. As recently as last month, a media report highlighted that, quote, the critically endangered Grauer's gorilla has lost 77% of its population in the last 20 years, partly due to the mining of minerals used to make cell phone, unquote. The mineral extracted and used is coltan. The report also stressed that, quote, participating in cell phone recycling programs help reduce the demand for mining in gorilla habitat, unquote. I've spoken about the recycling of e-waste for several years, and I'm glad that we're making progress. And we'll be introducing the extended producer responsibility approach to managing e-waste by 2021. Can ministers share more details about this, whether it can be brought forward, and also whether this can include the recycling of mobile phones, and in particular the mineral coltan? Next card. A few months ago, I delivered an adjournment motion calling for us to move towards a plastic-like Singapore. In that speech, I shared that a recent study found 1.8 trillion pieces of plastic, weighing a total of 80,000 tons, currently floating in a stretch of ocean between California and Hawaii. If we don't do anything about it, there will be more plastic than fish in our ocean by 2050. Part of the problem is packaging waste, and this clearly needs to be addressed. I am glad that we will mandate that businesses report on the type and amount of packaging, including plastic, they put on the market and their plans for reduction. It is even better news that this has been brought forward from 2021 to 2020, next year. Can ministers share more details about this, whether there will be mandatory reduction targets set, and whether there will be any measures to ensure that businesses have significant plans for reduction? Next. One of the places where a lot of disposables are used is at our hawker centres. A lot of people take away their food and disposables are used, since it is still rare that people bring their own containers. We need to tackle this issue, but what we should tackle first is the use of disposables for dining in. For new hawker centres, we have already disallowed the use of disposables for dining ins. This has clearly resulted in a significant drop in the amount of waste generated. Since 2019 has been designated as the year towards zero waste in Singapore, will Minister consider extending the ban on the use of disposables for dining in to all hawker centres? If not, will MEWA consider providing incentives or subsidies for hawkers who choose not to use disposables for dining ins? I do understand that disposables are used and it is more convenient and maybe even cheaper. As such, providing such incentives might encourage hawkers to make this change. Last card, sir. Last month, Temasek CEO Madam Ho Chin urged businesses to fulfill their obligation to ensure a livable and sustainable planet for all. It is a call to action that I fully support. It is also a call to action that the public service, the biggest employer in Singapore, should support. Public agencies currently follow the procurement principles of fairness, transparency, and value for money. Can environmental sustainability also be included in these principles? Even with a healthy economy, there will be no future if we don't have a healthy environment. In the words of Madam Ho Chin, quote, there is, as you know, no plan B for us, because there is no planet B.